What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Arrow Season 5. So Arrow is back after the 4-week long break with episode 19, Dangerous Liaison. This episode was centric around the 3 OGs, Oliver, Felicity and Ghul, which we haven't really had an episode focusing around the OGs in such a long time. And the title, Dangerous Liaison, made a lot of sense, as it was about moral dilemmas and debates about what is good, what is bad, and how far you have to go before you cross the moral high ground, in terms of obviously Felicity doing this and Oliver's done it. So it was quite interesting to see her point of view. So let's get into the breakdown. So the episode started in an arcade, which was really cool, actually, like a retro arcade. They're on the chase for Prometheus. They think they've tracked him down. Curtis is kind of fanboying, kind of geeking out about one of the arcade machines, saying, "We've got to go, this is a vintage machine." And once they make a bit of noise, the arcade machines turn on, and the one with the gun starts firing at everybody, which is kind of funny, actually. Well, not funny, it's kind of cool, because I've never really seen this in a TV show like this before. So by the end, it's game over, and Prometheus ends up inside the arcade with the game over music, which is kind of funny, because I didn't actually think he was originally, when I was watching this, behind this scene. So it's quite cool that like he's still trolling them. Like, obviously he was trained by Talia al Ghul, so he knows how to kind of stay hidden, I guess. So Oliver has to deal with questions from the media now that Prometheus Adrian Chase was outed to be the Star City killer, and obviously he was on his administration. He was a district attorney. He put a lot of people in jail for being bad people, so obviously in a later episode they're going to be released. So it's going to be quite interesting. I mean, Arrow this season has kind of dealt with a lot of political, government kind of based things, which is kind of weird for Arrow, but I think it's a nice touch to the standard kind of seasons that we get with Arrow. So Felicity is kind of balls deep inside Helix, but I don't really think she understands what's going on inside Helix. So Felicity's sidekick, the other girl with glasses, I don't know her name. Let me know in the comments down below if you know her name. She kills someone in an elevator to get a USB stick off him, but she didn't mean to kill him. But it's kind of interesting, because Prometheus had a contact inside Argos, which is kind of weird, because they didn't really say anything other than that. So we've got Team Arrow trying to figure it out, and then it all comes to an end, and they find out that Felicity's involved. So the narrative it's a lot to do with the moral high ground. Felicity is obviously got tunnel vision, because she's trying to get Chase, because obviously Chase killed her boyfriend, Detective Malone. So it's all about getting. She's willing to do anything to get Chase, like Oliver is willing to do anything to protect Star City. So it turns out that John Diggle's wife, Lila, is kind of turned out to be a bit like Amanda Waller. Obviously Amanda Waller was killed in this show, and they got someone called Caden James locked up, and that's who is in charge of Helix. So it's kind of interesting that with a couple episodes to go, we find out who's in charge of Helix. So basically Helix are trying to use Felicity to get him out of this illegal prison, and it appears that Helix are using Felicity against Team Arrow, which it's kind of an interesting kind of foreplay, I guess you could say, kind of role that I don't think she knew. I don't think she knows it was happening until the end of the episode. So Quentin Lance is trying to get Wild Dog back with his daughter, which is really interesting to touch, because we've seen her at the start of the season, but we haven't really heard anything else about his daughter, which is kind of odd, seeing as like the mother was killed and she's been put in care and he hasn't visited her once. So it's kind of interesting that we're seeing more of a backstory, because we didn't really get much of a backstory, in my opinion. So Oliver goes to see Felicity, basically saying, will you back down? No. And then she's like, you're going to have to try and stop me, which is kind of funny because we all know Felicity can't fight. We've seen her get killed off in Legends Tomorrow when she was like the Felicity superhero. So that's kind of funny. So it's really weird because Helix are going to get the head of Helix out of Argos even, and they trick everyone into thinking that they're going to where they think they're going, but they've really figured out where he's really been withheld. But you would have thought that kind of a highly intelligent company like Argos even would have figured out that they figured out where like Cadden James has really been withheld. So they break him out and it's a dilemma, Felicity versus Oliver. Felicity puts herself in front of Oliver's gun, then traps him inside the kind of lasers. So yeah, it was basically Felicity becoming Oliver in terms of doing things that she feels right to get Chase. And then it's funny to me. Well, it's kind of funny because in the end she gets kicked out of Helix anyway because of her connection to Team Arrow. But we all know where this storyline is going. Helix is going to say they can help him with Prometheus later on. They're going to ask her to do something highly illegal and something that could incriminate her. I mean, it's interesting that this Cadden James person, I think that's his name, it's interesting he didn't get unmasked. So does this mean there's going to be a who is Cadden James theories popping about? I mean, I think it'd be interesting if this is just like an alias and it turns out to be Felicity's dad or something, because that would be really interesting. So Mr. John Diggle isn't happy with Lila because she's basically turning into Amanda Waller, and it's like affecting their relationship. And I think this is clearly going to go on to next week's episode alongside with Oliver and Felicity being stuck in the bunker. So she got what she wanted. They used the device, and it turns out that Prometheus is actually in the same location as them, and it ends with a massive explosion. So overall, I guess it was kind of, I feel like it was a filler episode, but I think it's needed. I mean, there was some context to deal with relationships inside the program, and next week we're getting the Felicity is paralyzed episode, the Olicity episode. They're trapped in the bunker, so I guess most of the episode they're going to spend time trying to get out of this bunker. And I think I read in the synopsis that also John Diggle and his wife are going to try and talk throughout their problems, because he feels like she's going to extreme, doing illegal things to keep their kind of intelligence with keeping their intelligence from not being given out or anything like that. So yeah, this episode Arrow was pretty decent. It wasn't the strongest, but I feel like we're 4 episodes to go, so after next week's episode I think it will be plain sailing throughout. Anyway guys, please like, subscribe and comment if you're new, as that helps the channel grow and I appreciate it. If you want to, and drop your comments down below, as I'd love to hear what you think about this episode. I'll be doing a trailer breakdown for next week's episode later on, so that'll be up on the channel later on. Anyway guys, please like, subscribe and comment, and peace out. Peace out guys.